We're going to call to order this meeting of the Board of Education at 6:03 p.m. And at this time, we'd ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we wanted to just have a quick moment of silence for Mr. Jorge Soto, who was one of our district employees that passed away over the last couple of weeks. He was a paraprofessional at Ford School for several years and then was the custodian at the time of his passing. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for that. And we'll do a roll call.
Mr. Bianca? Here. Mr. Heyman? Here. Mr. Shona here. Mr. Kisco?
Here.
Mr. Knight? Here. Mr. Lamoy is not here. Mr. Nargi?
Present.
Ms. Richardson? Here. Mr. Tebow?
Here.
Mr. Trog is not here. Mayor Carbone? Here. Ms. Ayer? Here. Mr. Becerra?
Present.
Mr. Campolita?
Here.
Ms. Klacko? Here. Ms. Lomsky? Here. Mr. Crowder?
Here.
School community session. Michael, do you have anyone signed up?
No. No.
To entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Information sharing session. At this point, first going to ask for Emery to give us a student report.
Good evening, everyone. This past Saturday, the sophomores on Student Council traveled to Parson Care facility to volunteer their time with the residents. The Torrington High School Jazz Ensemble performed at Infinity Hall on Sunday with the Litchfield High School. This was just one of the many Torrington Public Schools performances that are part of Music in Our Schools Month. The CCSU Trumpet Ensemble, featuring THS alumni Rachel Rubino, performed at THS on Monday. March is also Youth Art Month. There are displays around the library here, showcasing the work of THS students. The boys swim team is competing tonight at the Class N state finals. The team placed third in the NBL, with senior Matt Traub winning the backstroke and beating his own meet record. The unified sports team won a silver medal at their most recent basketball game. The next game will be tomorrow at THS. The cheerleaders at THS placed second in NBLs. Emily Whaley, a THS sophomore, traveled to schools and offices in Torrington yesterday as part of a troop of Irish step dancers celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Over 100 students at THS participated in a recent job shadowing program. Over 40 local companies and organizations welcomed the students to experience a career for a day. The Construction Technologies class, under the leadership of teacher Scott Samzel, is working on the largest student-built tech ed project in THS history. The apprentices are in the midst of converting more than 10,000 pounds of rough-cut timbers into a barn that will be 16 feet wide by 20 feet long. Additionally, the building will have a second-story loft that will measure 16 feet wide by 12 feet long. The peak of the post and beam structure will reach more than 19 feet off the base. A manual raising of the building will be completed no later than March 22nd, after which the building will be disassembled and moved to its final location, the Historical District in Farmington. Students helping students. Through the organization of guidance counselor Joanna DeZurek, bilingual students have been volunteering their time as mentors and tutors to new immigrant students from Iraq, Vietnam, and Hungary. THS hosted another successful History Day at THS. Staff and students volunteered their time to the regional competition. The THS students were awarded first place in 5 of the 7 categories. First, second, and third place finishers will now move on to the State History Day in Connecticut competition on May 9th at CCSU. The topic this year was leadership and legacy. THS students are among the many participants that will present to the Northwest Chamber of Commerce investor panel tomorrow evening. The participants have been working with the Young Entrepreneurs Academy since the fall to develop their business ideas. THS English teacher Erin Sullivan is currently working with student volunteers to organize the second Raider Rally for Torrington. This charity event was first run in 2013 and successfully raised over $13,500 in cash and food for the Torrington chapters of Fish, Friendly Hands, and Susan B. Anthony. This year's event will be on May 29th. The 10th annual dodgeball tournament to benefit Generation Rwanda will take place on March 27th in the THS Gymnasium. This event is organized by the Interact Club, a student organization run by the THS Library/Media Specialist, Robin Magistrali. April 10th, 11th, and 12th, Torrington High School's marching band will be marching the National Cherry Blossom Parade. They are one of the 12 high school bands across the country performing for over 200,000 people on Constitution Avenue. It will be broadcast live on local TV in DC and streaming live on websites. You can contact Mr. S for any more questions. On May 9th, McNally Jazz Orchestra from Minnesota saw what THS Marching Band was doing and decided to perform for our community. And we'd like to recognize Bree Pergola and Gabby Vega for both being all NBLs from our very own school. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we'll turn it over to the superintendent.
Thank you. Gives me some great pleasure this evening to recognize some outstanding students from across our district. And first, I'd like to ask Robin Laversis to please come forward. She's not a student. Quite evident. And Robin, is Jonah able?
I don't think the kids are here.
Okay. But we'd like you to, you heard a brief introduction about Job Shadowing Day, and would you please share with the board just exactly how it came about and the results of it?
Sure. I sit on some different committees with the Chamber, Manufacturing Coalition, have connections in the community, and we were able to send out about 100 students to about 40 different businesses, everything from health to technology to business, accounting, marketing. They all came back positively speaking about that they can make that connection on as to what they want to do in the future and how their schooling is connected to it. Working on expanding the program next year to include pre-apprenticeships, apprenticeships. We'll do some mock interviews, a lot of career and life skills, and be able to, so many of them are just eager to help in any way that they can. So we will definitely tap into those resources, and it's been great working with the high school, and Andrew Marchand helped a lot, the Chamber helped a lot, so it was great.
There is a list of all the businesses that supported the day in your packet this month, and it was a great opportunity for our students to get out and see the opportunities for work and career within our community. And you don't have to leave home to be a successful person.
Right. Yeah, they I think reinforced to the students that they can come back to the community and have super careers. So it was good to see.
But I want to recognize you too, Robin, for putting the whole thing together.
Thank you. It was fun. It was fun. Thank you.
And now, without further ado, it is my pleasure to ask Mr. Fritsch to come forward, please. And would he be so kind as to first say a few words about this amazing team? And then would you introduce each and every one of them?
I hope I can remember the names. I've been out for 2 weeks.
How about their numbers?
Numbers I can do.
And if you can give us just a little something about these amazing young women.
This has been by far one of the most amazing groups we've had here at Torrington High School in the girls program. They did a lot of things this year. They started out very well, not well. And then they went ahead and surprised all of us. They finished 19-1. They won their division. They were 8-0 in the division, which was the Copper division. They then went on to win the NVL title, which in our league now, in order to be the NVL champs, you have to win the tournament, and they did that. So I've been blessed with outstanding seniors who have brought their game and taught the underclassmen. I've got great captains. And I've said this to numerous people, I've had great kids. We've had some nice accolades throughout the year, and it's just been a very rewarding and fun season for me, as well as my assistant coaches, Erica Pratt, who teaches at the middle school, Barbara Beebe, who is a counselor here, and a person you won't see here is our resident volunteer Coach Joe Lefkowski. He's in Florida right now, where I should be, but he is by far one of my right-hand person throughout the season. So, and I'll try to do my best to get all these girls to stand up.
Have them come right around in front.
Okay. I'll start with my senior captains, Kendra Covington and Paige Middleton. I don't need the microphone.
Right, perfect.
Let's go. Senior Mia Barberi. Senior Abby Fisher. In my junior class, Caitlin Cornish, who never stops smiling. Lindsay Matthew. That's it for juniors. And sophomores, Sarah Bardwell, I get it, Colleen Kildar, Bree Pergola, Cindy Coble, and 3 of our freshmen here, Shannon Reardon, Alexia Fox, and Cassie Fedor, who could not play this year, but boy, she was a big help for us.
Right in front. Right in front. Like a poser for a picture. There we go. All
They've done
right.
this a little bit.
Great. Good. Thank you. All right. Great. Thanks. Your video. You're not.
And Mike, thank you.
A side note, we've been very fortunate this year. Both Coach Lefkowski and Coach Pratt have been nominated and are going to be accepted into the THS Hall of Fame. So congratulations to them. And this group was nice enough to deliver me 400 wins this year, so that was an accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you for coming this evening. And now, without further ado, Mr. Inman, could you please come forward? This is an amazing young man, and he will share with you his invention. He's one of the finalists at Invention Convention. And with him, accompanying him tonight, Mr. Vedetto.
Yeah, that's good. Great. Thank you. That's good.
So here, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah. So here with me, I have my product. The thing is, it's a bit hard to make it into the finalists, but I think I did good. So, marked floss. Before I actually have to introduce the product, I have to introduce the problem that occur that made this product arise. So, if you or your kids, or if you work with like the disabled or the mentally handicapped, you may see a problem that arises, and that's actually quite frequently. And that is that you're using too much floss or too little, and it happens pretty frequently, not necessarily all of the time, but, you know, at a good rate. And, you know, you just think, oh, this is a small inconvenience, but really it can add up to a lot. I don't exactly have the mathematics right here, but on my board, really, cringeworthy.
You're doing great, it's okay.
It shows the exact numbers. And I believe it's up to 40 meters of floss if you lose about a foot of floss every 3 days, assuming that you floss every day, which you should. So this can cost you, depending on the type of floss that you get, 4 containers, maybe even more. And because of this, this problem can be easily avoided, and it doesn't have to. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Doing great.
You speak better than most adults. You're doing
It's true.
So enter my product, Mark Floss, and I was originally going to name it X Floss because it sounds better, but I can't because that's copyrighted. So what happened?
You're all right. You're all right. Just take a deep breath and think about what you want to say. That's it.
I really don't want you to continue.
That's all right. Okay.
Mr. Vedetta, can you share who was interested in his invention?
Well, so what was really nice is that Mr. Inman thought of something that hadn't been thought of before. He realized that there was a lot of waste, and in our society we waste quite a bit. So what he did was he had an invention that it was marked. There was a certain amount, and you pull it off and you use it, and that was that. What was really interesting about Mr. Inman is that he contacted Oral-B. He contacted them to see, hey, does this exist? Can I do this? And that's where he learned his name of X-Floss was already copyrighted, so he couldn't do that. But he took it a step further, and he said, well, why don't we contact Procter & Gamble? So they forwarded the message on to them to say, hey, if you come up with this product and you can patent this product, we are certainly interested in purchasing your copyright and your patent. So he's taken it a lot further than most of the other students even can dream of. So he's got a viable product that he can one day potentially sell, and he can put his name all over it, and it would be,
Patent it and
yeah.
call it his own.
You bet, yeah.
At the ripe old age of 12?
Yeah, exactly. He's doing more than most can dream of, and just from a very simple problem, you can generate income, you can generate a business, and that's just step one. There's so many more product lines that you can do, and he had just this great idea, and it seems so simple, but it's so complex, and there's so much there to it, that's what was really unique about it. He did a wonderful job. He impressed all the judges, and it was great. It was a wonderful day, the day of the Invention Convention.
Thank you for continuing it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Thank you for having students under your tutelage who can come up with such amazing ideas.
Hey, he did all the work. I just watched and was pleased with everything. It was just wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, absolutely outstanding, so thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, I would just like to ask if sometime in the future, if he would like to come back and speak and make another presentation. I enjoyed what he was saying, and we're always more than willing to have young people who are energetic and obviously very gifted come before the board and express themselves. So.
I'd like to be his first customer.
You get by.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Bain?
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come up here and speak on behalf of what we are doing at the high school as far as our accreditation process. To my right and to your left is one of our co-chairs for our NEASC steering committee, Mrs. Jamie Rowland, who is a social studies teacher here at Torrington High School. Our other co-chair, Mr. Andrew Marchand from the business department, was unable to make it tonight because our boys are swimming in the state meet. So we wish them the best of luck, and he's sorry he's not here, but you know, it's important that our young men who are in the championships do well. So he's there to support them. In front of you is a packet that I presented to the school improvement subcommittee several weeks ago, and I was asked to bring this before the board. There's a lot of information in there for you, a lot of historical information in regards to the accreditation process. So, you know, if you have any questions after you read through this, at a further date, you can certainly email me with any questions you have. But basically what I wanted to bring to every one of you is kind of where we are in the process. Currently, our 10-year accreditation cycle will be up in the year 2017. They don't give us a date whether or not it's going to be in the fall or the spring as of now, because those are obviously two separate years, and there are other schools, there are so many other schools that are going through the accreditation process. Some schools get bumped to another date. They might not have enough committee members to make commitments. So we really will not know whether we will be in the fall or the spring, probably until sometime next year. But we are going to prepare, as we have been doing, for the earliest accreditation process, which would be the spring of 2017. So we will be ready to go by the spring of 2017. The first, you'll notice there's three different parts of your packet. The first packet is kind of an overview of what the accreditation process is, the changes that the New England Association of Schools and Colleges has made. They inform us, they have an annual meeting that we attend, and they kind of inform us of different changes. There have not, thankfully, fortunately, there has not been many changes in the last 2 years, but one of the biggest changes that they have made is the change from what we have always traditionally known as a mission statement for the school. About 6 years ago, they changed to what they call the core values, beliefs, and learning expectations. That is, quote unquote, the new vision of a mission statement for all schools. So every school that is accredited by NEASC has to have a core values and learning expectations for their schools. That's where we start the process. And it really kind of outlines and describes how you go about that process. And I think that, and hopefully Ms. Rowland will attest to it, that the process that we put in place was very well done. And it was very well accepted by everybody who was on board. The core values statement, which is actually in the last part of the packet, was developed by not only staff members at the school, but community members, parents, and students. We're very proud that we went through a process of this, and we actually incorporated an activity into our advisory time that we have during our school year, which we meet once a week. We do. So as you read the first part of the process, or the first part of the packet, again, it gives you the overview of the different standards. There's 7 standards that are associated with NEASC. The first one, obviously, what I said was being core values, and it kind of outlines how do you get there, what is your core values, so on and so forth. And then it goes on through curriculum, instruction, assessment, and things of that nature. So every staff member here at Torrington High School will be, well, they are assigned to one of those committees for each of the 7 standards. You have in your packet each of those committees with the members' names. We have co-chairs for each one of those subcommittees. The steering committee, which is made up of all 7 co-chairs, as well as the co-chairs of the steering committee, which is Jamie and Andrew, are the ones who really run the show. And it's so far, I've been proud to say it's been an amazing experience. We really kind of started to take a look at this last year. And this year, since the beginning of the year, with our school governance council, our PTO, faculty meetings, and our advisory, we really hit the ground running, and I'm very proud of the work that we've accomplished so far and the leadership that we have with our staff. So again, the first packet just kind of outlines, what the standards are and what we need to do in order to do our self-report. For those of you not familiar, the visiting day or the visiting dates are 4 days that they come in. It's a visiting committee of our peers, made up of teachers, administrators, central office personnel, and they come in and they review the process. They review the self-study report. They do interviews. We obviously take a look at surveys that are done throughout the community with the students, with the parents, with the staff. We compile all that information over really what should be a 2-year process. So we're, again, like I said, we're beginning that process now. The first step, if I could kind of take a step back, we had to do what they call a pre-self-study report, kind of say where we are in the process right now and answer questions associated with each one of the standards so they get an idea of where we are at this point. And the committee reviews it, comes back and says, okay, we accept your report, which they did. And that is the second part of your packet that you have there. It kind of outlines the letter that's sent to me, the due date where it was due, and then the report is attached that was written by the administration, the co-chairs, and then we sent that out prior to the June 3rd or the January 3rd deadline of this year, 2015. And if you read through that, you could see in all honesty, it's an honest report. You have to be honest when you do this report, and if there's things that are missing, you say it. You say that it's missing, and you say that you're working on it. This is a great self-reflection of what we do as a school community. It's something that I've been involved in pretty much since I've been involved in education. This is my 3rd go-around as involved with NEASC, and it is one of the best professional development opportunities that I've ever been associated with. And I really, really firmly believe that the staff has bought into what we're doing as far as this process. We had our faculty meeting last Monday. Last Monday we had our faculty meeting, and the whole meeting was basically kind of taking a look at each one of your standards that you were committed to and really looking at what we do and what's missing, what we can improve on. So just to get a jump start and familiarize ourselves with what it is. And then we report it out, and it was a real healthy discussion. And chime in if you want. But, so we were very excited about that discussion, and it was well received, and we were very happy with that. To go back to the core values, it starts there. We can't build a foundation of a belief in a school without having what used to be called, obviously, a mission statement, but now we call it the core values. We needed a simple catchphrase that everybody knew and everybody would accept. And we had a contest within our advisory groups. Our advisory groups are broken out by grade level. It's 12 to 14 kids per advisory group with a teacher that they're associated with, and they go through the 4 years of their high school career with. So we had a contest, and in that contest we basically said, come up with a catchphrase. What would signify what Torrington High School is all about? And in that third packet on the top there, you can see what it is. After judging and narrowing it down to 10 and having the school governance council take a look at it and the faculty take a look at it, the winner was THS Tradition, Honor, Success. You're going to see that posted everywhere in this school. This will be what we believe in as a school community. We're very proud of it. The staff accepted this earlier in the year. And from there, we built what our core value statement was based off tradition, honor, success. And underneath tradition, honor, success is what the staff accepted as our core value statement, which is THS believes that a community of self-motivated individuals who exercise personal responsibility and respect, demonstrate intellectual curiosity and resiliency, and value hard work and integrity will create lifelong learners and produce members of society. Students will uphold tradition and bring honor and success to themselves, the school, and the community. That's what we believe in. The next steps underneath, it's a little bit outdated, but we have done, the community of staff representatives, we are working, we have accepted it as I stated. The rubrics are going to be embedded, they're associated with the core values. We're currently getting ready to work on those. Jamie's done an excellent job of formulating a committee to work on those school-wide rubrics. And then obviously we have embedded these core values and beliefs now, and it'll be fully engaged for next year. So again, this last packet is more informational about who's on each of the ones of the committee. The committee names, the members' names are from every discipline we have here in the school. There's an administrator associated with each one of the committees as well, so they're involved heavily. And then in the last several pages are examples of some rubrics that we're working with to help create what we're going to accomplish as a goal for rubrics. Our goal is to have the rubrics implemented and in place for the fall of next school year. So that's where we are in the process right now. We're taking a lot of our faculty meeting time to really get engaged in what the process is, and our steering committee is meeting next week or the week after. Next week or the week after, we're meeting to kind of discuss how the meeting went and really what we're going to do to move forward. So this, this is a great process. We're way ahead of the game, which is a good thing, and our goal is to be ready for a visit in the spring of 2017. We could have one in the fall, which would be the following year. So that's where we are with this process. So if anybody has any questions.
When will you find out if it's going to be spring or fall?
They usually tell you about a year out. But my last experience, they told us about 6 months before, so we prepare for about a year out. So hopefully by the winter of next school year, we'll know.
Next year will be a big year for doing a lot of the big, heavy lifting.
Yeah, a lot of the work that we're going to be doing, collecting the data, writing the reports, will be done next school year. That's what we're going to do, build all our evidence and to get ready to write the report. The report will be written throughout the year next year.
I actually have one question. In the Torrington High School pre-study report, it talks about the change to the guidance department. And I guess my question is, part of the whole administrative restructure that the board was presented really solely revolved around schools within schools, having people responsible for specific students, specific grades, making ninth grade, we had guidance responsible for them, APs responsible for them. So I'm very surprised that we reverted back to an alphabetical caseload, and the reasons I see here, after not understanding correctly, but would you mind expanding on why we undid that?
Well, I mean, there was a long conversation between the school counseling department and staff and administration, and along with the superintendent about that. And we really had to trust what was best for the kids. And going back to an alpha with the help of Dr. Rich really was more of a benefit for our students, we felt. When we started off at the grade level, there were some high concerns. For example, the counselor who is responsible for the seniors doing all the prep for the college for the Common App, for example, and it just wasn't at the time a good fit, we thought, when we made the change at the beginning of this year. Dr. Rich and I sat down with Mrs. Klocko, and we really listened to what the counselors were talking about. We felt that the alpha kind of spread things out and let them have a piece of every year, because if they were, another example would be if they were with juniors and if they were all juniors, for example, and then they went to seniors, they'd have no experiences with any changes if they were incoming freshmen for 2-3 years. So that was another issue, and we took all that into consideration before we presented to the superintendent.
Now, has an evaluation been done, now that we're doing it this way, to see if all the students are being serviced?
We are going to be reviewing by the end of the year, yes, with Dr. Rich. I've had that discussion with him. We wanted to give it time.
Right, and I'm going to say my concern is really that we've got to get this and get it right.
Yep.
Because these kids are moving.
Yes.
And in my mind, there's not a solid plan in place and guidance, and that's very concerning to me. So this, to me, is concerning, and I hope that we're going to evaluate it before these kids have a whole nother full year
Yes.
out.
Yes, we will.
I wasn't aware of the change in guidance going back. How long were we implemented with our director of guidance and grade level guidance people? How many months did that run?
We did it for all of last year, where it was by the grade level, and then we were probably about a month or two before we made the change this school year.
This year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we have several months right now where I think we need more time to collect data to see.
But by the end of this school year, you
Yes.
should have enough data to
Yes.
see side by side.
We should, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think a lot of it is, I think I'd like to, sit down with Dr. Rich and the counselors and really kind of pinpoint what comparisons are the most important and what we can do to share that information with you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.